Problem with this. Oh, it's live now. Hang on. All right. Hang on. All right. Good Saturday morning. How'd you like that intro, Eddie?
Wow, what about that? A new one there. Nice little switch up.
We'll mix it up a little bit. So good morning to everybody. Thanks for coming on this Saturday morning. We got a lot of things. I'm actually really excited about this show. We're out of Saratoga. Everything's happened. How'd you make out in Saratoga, Eddie?
Well, first off, let me point out, if you slide a little bit to your right there so everybody can see the Saratoga entrance sign you have. No, there you go. That's a wonderful sign with the $2 win ticket below it. Awesome. Love that.
Thank you for sneaking that out for me. I really do appreciate it because I like to have a little bit of a collectible atmosphere, a little aura in the background.
Yeah, so Saratoga, I mean, it's I was fortunate this year to be here the whole meet. Had a great meet, had a great start to the meet. I'll never forget walking into the paddock for the very first race on opening day with my boy Walter, and all of a sudden it started sprinkling. So I think God was blessing the beginning of the meet with a little bit of rain. And then closing day, it rained all day. So God was crying that the meet was over, along with many of us. But it was a great meet. We had some nice wins, together with notebook picks and with SpotPlays, PaceSheets. We had a profitable meet. It was a lot of fun, and hopefully a lot of our followers rode along with us and hit some nice winners as well.
Absolutely. And I just, I wanted to call out. I'm not here to tout or anything. I will tell you that the last 3 weeks of Saratoga were like really, really good for me. I ran the numbers, and I'm not playing every race, and this is why I go with a SpotPlays. I'm not playing every race, and I want everybody to know that. But the races I did play, I had a 34% ROI. So I was pretty happy about that, Eddie. The first few weeks, maybe not so much. Maybe it was just my handicapping, or there was like a period of like 2 weeks in Saratoga where it just seemed like it was just a mishmash of stuff. End of July, early August.
Yeah, I mean, I started out pretty good, and then I kind of had a little lull period there. But like you, the last 3 weeks were really good. That's where I really started being a little bit more disciplined in my handicapping, playing maybe a few more multi-race wagers, combining notebook picks with spot plays, and I hit a lot of doubles, a few pick fours and pick fives. But for me, the last week, I mean, again, incorporating the pace sheets with notebook picks on Wednesday and Thursday of closing week. I believe there was 23 races, and I had like 17 winners, and I only put out first and second choices. I don't put out 4 horses. I only put out 2. So we really killed it Wednesday, Thursday, which gave me a little bit of a nice kitty for the closing weekend. Had a couple of nice prices in the closing weekend. So, finished out nicely, enough to take it into this card today with Kentucky Downs and maybe sprinkle in a little bit of Delmar.
Absolutely. The good thing about horse racing is it never goes away. I think the only day they take off is Christmas Day. We've got horse racing all year long. My wife reminds me of that all the time. So we're all passionate. We're all fans first. I had a really great time at the meet this year at Saratoga. You guys all know that I do a lot of stuff in the background. I have to keep my mind busy. So one of the things I like to do is I like to paint. Eddie, look what I did for you, man. Watch this.
Okay.
I made this for you. Oh, wait a minute. I lost the thing now. Come on. Where is it? I had it here 2 seconds ago. All right, here we go. Look at this. How do you like this painting?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, wait a minute. I lost it.
It
Guess who that is, B?
It looks like all my friends were standing with me in that picture there.
Look at that. I'm gonna sell this online. Matter of fact, your friend Walter probably needs a picture over his fireplace right now.
You want me to autograph? You want me to
That's what I'm
autograph
thinking.
it?
I'm thinking, you know what? We could sell prints of this limited edition to 500, and then we'll have Eddie sign like the first 100. We'll figure out what the price is going to be at the end, but no,
do I get the picture proof?
You can have whatever you want. You can have whatever you want, Eddie. All right. So before we get into the pace sheets and Kentucky Downs, that's what I want to get everybody revved up about. Just a couple reminders. If you're on this morning, don't be afraid to leave your comments. Don't be afraid to ask any questions. Don't be afraid to share some of your opinions, because we certainly don't know it all. We try to sometimes, but I like to hear the opinions out there and be able to answer the questions with the pace sheets. And I'll tell you kind of what I did last night. So before we get into that, let's just recap last weekend for a bit, Eddie. And the first thing is Saratoga. So I wanted to talk about Saratoga last Saturday. We had the stakes races, the last show. And I got all kinds of technical difficulties here this morning. So the races I wanted to call out, and this is my favorite one right here, is this is the Flower Bowl. And I just lost my screen again. Somebody doesn't like me today because I am getting. All right, here we go. So here's the Flower Bowl last weekend. Now remember, Warlike Goddess was like in. I don't know what the morning line odds. I think wasn't it 2-5 or something like that, Eddie?
Yeah, I believe so.
It was crazy. Listen, if Warlike Goddess gets another 10 feet in this race, Warlike Goddess probably wins the race. The point I was making here last week, and I was 3-4. So 3 was Virginia Joy with Irad, Chad Brown, ended up winning the race, going wire to wire. The piece about this, as I want everybody to know, is when you look at the pace sheets and you see what's happening, the thing about the pace sheets that I want to key in on is when you look at it, see if I can get my pen to work. Since nothing else is working. The thing I want to key in on is look at the 4, Warlike Goddess. So when you look at Warlike Goddess,
it just popped off the screen.
Did it pop off the screen again? Okay, I don't know what is going on today. All right, we're back on?
Yep.
All right, so when I look at this is all I want to call out here. Head to 3. I guess you could have had the 7 and made a case for that one too, but the 4 was 2-5. The point I was making is you can look at this and kind of tell, is the race going to be contentious? Is there going to be any gaps? Is there any concerns? All I said last week is this didn't look like a 2-5. Because if I saw 2-5, I'd want to see like a big gap up here somewhere, and maybe that one's way over here and everybody else is over here. That's all the only point I was going to make. So it worked out here. Warlike Goddess got beat, and if you had anybody else besides Warlike Goddess, you got value here because Warlike Goddess was bet down so much. And again, the other piece I want to call out too is look at the pace, projected pace here. So when you look at the projected pace, it was actually honest. Closer. Those are the ones you want to strike against. So I think it was a good play. Again, not touting, but I wanted to call that out that, hey, this is what it looked like on paper. And originally when I handicapped this, just so everybody knows, I'm going to be completely transparent. This was a single for me. Until I went back and looked at the pace sheets and I started putting this stuff together, I said it was 3-4, but I knew you could beat it. And if you're going to beat it, I guess you could have taken any of these horses here, but that's what it looked like for me, Eddie.
Yeah, and we both went with 3-4, 4-3 in that race. And I think if I remember correctly, I said if you're looking for whatever value there may be, just play it straight 3-4 with the 3 on top. So, it just one of those races where, it's called the Graveyard of Champions for a reason. So you get a lot of favorites that may not pull out, and win the race. So
absolutely. So the other one I just wanted to call out is I went against Olympiad because Olympiad's burned me 1,001 times. So I wasn't a big fan of Olympiad here, but here's Olympiad. Again, my pen's all whacked up, but Olympiad's the 2. I went with the 5, American Revolution, but trust data. is the message here. Trust data. Olympiad was the best total pace. Um,
Yeah, we talked about this race. I mean, we were a little bit. If you can just scroll up just a touch, Chris, we were. We both had Olympiad in its last race.
mhm.
Really, really threw a clunker, kind of a head scratcher of a race, and we both liked American Revolution in this race, who ended up running a solid second, but Olympiad bounced back and showed the class that he is, and went off at a decent price, 8 to 5, I believe it ended up going off at. So not a bad price. And the exacta came back $13 on top of American Revolution. Not a bad price if you play strong exactas. So, but yeah, Olympiad redeemed himself. American Revolution maybe didn't have the greatest of trips, but I don't think anybody was beating Olympiad in that race.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Looked really, really strong, and it was the opposite of the race before. So, and then lastly, let's just touch on it, Eddie, because I don't want to leave it. Everybody's buzzing this week about a certain horse.
Yep.
That certain horse, the greatest horse maybe you've ever seen in your lifetime.
The greatest horse I've seen in my lifetime, because I was 9.5 years old. I did get to see Secretariat on TV.
Okay.
I was fortunate to be able to go out to Meadow Farms in Virginia. My grandfather took me out there and saw Secretariat before I knew who Secretariat was, but before he had even raced, before he started training to race, he just took me out there and we saw a bunch of horses. So let's talk about this. Okay, there's no disputing how great Flightline is. 5 for 5. I think the smallest margin of victories, like 6.5 furlongs. Every other one is double digits, 6.5 lengths. Every other race is 10 lengths or more. He just finished demolishing a field by 19.5 lengths, almost 20 lengths. Country Grammar came second. Country Grammar may have thought that he won the race, but let's stop the foolishness. This horse has not shown the ability or the soundness to come back and run every 6 or 8 weeks like great horses do. There's only one comparison, and there's actually something that did open up my eyes about if this horse could be sound, how great he could be, and if he runs at 5 years old next year, he could be something special. But his stride is like 15. It's longer than Secretariat's from their measurements in the stride, and that really opened my eyes. I'm like, okay, wow. So it's not a fluke of a horse. I'm not saying it's a fluke of a horse, but let's stop the Secretariat comparison. Secretariat ran 21 times, won 16 times, came second 3 times. One of the few times that it lost was a maiden was his very first race. And then he came back and just started blowing everybody out of the water. He still has track records. He won the Triple Crown. Flightline never ran in the Triple Crown. There's no comparison right now. Even if Flightline wins the Breeders' Cup, there's still no comparison. He would have to come back as a 5-year-old and win 3 or 4 Grade 1 races before we can do that. And, just remember, there's some jokes out there about he's no Jesus, all right? Let's stop the foolishness. Good horse, maybe great horse. Let's see if he even runs in the Breeders' Cup, because he's never proven to be able to run back 2 months later. So let's see what happens.
Listen, I'm with you. I know people get excited for whatever the current issue, whatever the current thing is, the current trend. That's where everybody gets crazy. I'm appreciative of the greatness of what I'm seeing potentially, what we could see. I respect history, but if I'm walking you down to a farm and I tell you this is a baby Secretariat and a baby Flightline, I'm pretty sure that you're probably going to take baby Secretariat, right?
Well, sure. I mean, look, the only knock against Flightline is Flightline's got bad feet, so he just can't run as often as some of the older greats. But even some of today's great horses that, they space out their races a lot more today than they did before. So because of that, it can't run enough to show us the full greatness of what he can be. I'm not knocking the greatness of the horse or the potential greatness of the horse. I'm just saying, hey, let's pump the brakes a little bit and wait and see what happens.
Hey Eddie, I got another one for you that I'm going to say that when people say it's the greatest horse, let me just talk about my greatest horse. It's a horse. Maybe you've heard of him. His name's Man of War. Um, I was just looking at PPs last night, and I was looking around in Secretariat. And first off, it's amazing these old horses. How many times these horses ran? They ran for like years, and they ran for every month. So you can imagine when you had a really great horse, how you could build up the excitement with the people because they could go to their local track and see the great horse race. I can imagine that. But man, when I look at Man of War, it just blows me away. The only race that he lost was, of course, that Sanford at Saratoga by upset. By the
Right,
way, the videos I've seen, Man of War was facing the other way. That's so the legend says.
right.
So the horse got a head start, but Man of War never lost. And how about this one here? I just
Wait,
noticed
wait,
this
wait,
one.
wait.
Good.
Before you
Yeah.
leave that,
All right.
take a look at this for a second.
All
Man
right.
of War, he runs August 2nd in the U.S. Hotel and wins for fun in that race. Then he comes back 11 days later, gets nipped in the Sanford because of a terrible break, and then he comes back 7 days later, romps in the Hopeful, and then he comes back and wins the Futurity at Belmont 2 weeks later. Look at the frequency of what great racehorses used to do back in the day. And if you actually look back towards the bottom of it, he ran June 6th and June 9th, 3 days later, and won both races.
I don't have his workouts though, Eddie, so I'm not really sure if he was fit and ready to fly. But listen, before we start throwing stuff out there, my point is this: you want to see greatness? Just do a Google search, Man of War, lifetime PPs. Look at this is. I just noticed this one on the 4th of September. This must be 1920, Eddie. I should
Oh
run the
yeah,
analysis. Look at
you
this.
got you got a second, you got a
He got
penny for him.
Yeah, he got a penny. We got 2 pennies.
Yeah,
But guess how many lengths did he win by? Have you ever seen this
100,
before?
100. But I believe it was what? How many horses were in that field? I don't believe there
It
was
was, it
many in
was
that.
it was a match race against somebody
Yeah,
else, but you know what? The match race ended quickly because that's a story we go. So anyway, I just wanted to show a little history lesson this morning, just to get everybody buzzing. We've already been talking here, rambling on for 20 minutes. People came; they want to see what's going. First off, this Kentucky Downs card today is fire.
it's
Really,
fantastic.
really, really good. I didn't even notice there was how many $1 million races we got today? 3, 4.
There's $3 million races, and I think there's 6
All right.
stakes races, maybe.
This is good. This is good stuff. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to go through the pay sheets. Now, first off, I don't think scratches have posted yet, right, Eddie? I can't imagine they have at 10:30.
Actually, they may. I'll look while you're talking because they may have, Chris. Because the first race is at 12:30 today, I believe.
Okay. So, is it early today?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. I didn't realize that. So when you look at the races, and this was posted on SpotPlays at PaceSheets 1, when you go to Twitter, two things I want to call out. Get a lot of DMs, a lot of messages about how do you read this information? How do you do it? First off, I want everybody to know there's a key pinned right at the very top. Look at that key as a reference. The second thing is I want you to go through and I want you to look at the examples. So there's examples every day. If we were 100% hits, life would be good. I wouldn't be doing these shows with Eddie. I'd be sitting on a yacht somewhere in Miami. The message here is you've got to trust data. You've got to take handicapping. You've got to trust data. I'm going to show you a little bit of what I did last night when I was going through and I was looking at this. So I have Kentucky Downs right here. Now, there's a couple things I want to show. I just keep losing this. For some reason, it's not sharing my screen very nice today. It's like
that's
it
okay.
keeps.
And Chris, while you're working on that, what I want to share real quickly, and then I'll give it right back to you. It keeps popping off and on there, but you know, for people who may not know, Kentucky Downs track is very unique track. It's number one. It's shaped basically like a light bulb, and it's also got rolling hills. So they're going uphill, downhill, and when they come to the finish line, they're coming back uphill. So it's a very different track, and it's very unique. And some horses take to it, but other horses they don't like going downhill or they don't like going uphill. So that's why you get some prices in here. So what we're going to talk about today is hopefully show you some some strong plays, and also some long shots.
So Eddie, I'm going to go through the whole card, but I'm going to quickly. But what I will do want to focus on is I want to focus on these big races that we have there, and what the sheets are showing, how you handicapped it, what I looked at. So the first one I want to get into is I want to get into I guess it's the Mint Million race number 5 today at Kentucky Downs. What do you have in this race? What do you see happening?
All right, so I mean, all these races are so good. I mean, they're full fields is one thing to look at. I think this one has a 10-horse field. I think you got to look at the 3-horse Atone as excuse me, the 7-horse Atone as your favorite. He's 3-1 in the morning line. He's Mike Maker, Tyler Gaffleone are the connections on here for the owner Wyckoff, who's very prominent owner. He's been running in good company. One of 3 Mike Maker horses he's got running in this race, and Maker's had a great meet so far. He's arguably one of the best trainers down there, if not the best trainer down there. So you got to be looking at Atone. I also looked at number 2, Pixelate at 5-1. You got Stidham and Rosario, which is always a strong combination down there. He won this race last year. He's 1-for-1 at Kentucky Downs, which that means something. It's his second race off a long layoff. And as I've stated before, I don't mind long layoffs on the turf in any way, shape, or fashion if it's a good horse in form. 3 really nice works right after that race. He's definitely working to this race. I think they're pointing him to this race. The 5 is my pick. I'm going to tell you the 4-horse, Some Like It Hot Brown, is by far the speed of the speed. There's some cheap speed in here that can run up on the front, but I don't think they can keep up with the 4-horse, Some Like It Brown. He could get loose. He's raced once at Kentucky Downs, came second. So he definitely has an affinity for the turfus from that one time. But I will give you a price play a little bit here, is the 5-horse Kentucky Ghost. Morning line, he's 12-1. It's his 4th race since October of last year. He won the cliffhanger at Monmouth 2 back. He's been off since July 23rd. Has a great bullet work back September 5th at Keeneland, which is a 48-2. That's pretty quick. So he's my long shot, and he's also raced twice at Kentucky Downs with 2 seconds out of those. So if you're looking for a price play to maybe play underneath or maybe a surprise win, I would use the 5 Kentucky Ghost. I'm going with the 2 Pixelate, and I'm not using the 4 Some Like It Hot Brown. I'm going to do 2 with the 7 Atone, and then I'm also going to sprinkle in the 5.
All right, so 2, 7, 5 is how Eddie's going to play this. Now, and
by the way, all my picks is without looking at pace sheets. I like the
right.
I use it to gamble, but when we do these shows, I do mine, so you do yours, so we're both standalone here.
Well, I did my picks first, and when I did my picks first, I actually came out of this without the morning line odds. Looking at it, I was all about the 7, Eddie. I like the 7, just like you did. I mean, the 7 looks good on paper. I got nothing to say there, but I'm going to show you what I do like Some Like It Hot Brown. The thing I'm concerned about with Some Like It Hot Brown is this right here. 0-for-5 at the distance. That's like enough sampling for me that it's chancy. But now here's my big but. Now, first off, Eddie's spot on with the Mike Maker information and everything he said here. So when I look at this race, remember what we talked about, everybody that's using these sheets.
The gap.
There's a gap. Now, the other thing I'll call out to you is I've got to figure out a way of how to incorporate the queering points, because if any of you have never dived into pace, the queering points to me are like one of those old school things that just work really well. So I'd really encourage you to do so. So from a queering standpoint, the 4 Some Like It Hot Brown, he has a pace advantage. And as Eddie stated, yes, he's the speed of the speed. But I'm telling you, Some Like It Hot Brown is above and beyond everybody else on early pace. So what I'm hoping here, now the projected pace before scratches is fast, so it looks like it could be quick. That's okay. If I can just get some like it Hop Brown out there in front, get some slow fractions, I think this is your play here. And it's, what is it, 5-1? It's in that ballpark.
Nine,
So
nine to nine to
nine to
two.
two. All right. So 9-2 are the odds. I like the 7. And remember, when you look at the pay sheets, the bigger the bubble, and this isn't a human doing this, this is the computer. So the bigger the bubble, that's the higher their algorithms. Because somebody asked me that the other day. Why don't you just give the picks out and say who's it going to be? So I don't know. You can slice and dice it. The 7 looks like it's a little bit bigger than the 4. But I'm just telling you, I'm going to trust the data here, and I'm going to figure out something with the 4 and the 7. And I think, who's the 8, Eddie?
The 8's in junction. You got the 8 and the 9, and maybe even the 6 that could go out to the front. But
Okay.
as in talking to Walter earlier about this, they might be cheap speed, and the 4 still might get out on its own. But those are the ones that, for my horse, for either the 2 or the 7 to come up and catch some like it Hop Brown, we're going to need one of the 6, 8, or 9 to press the horse a little bit.
And if I didn't do a very good job explaining that, don't be afraid to put a comment in there and have me clarify something, because I'm happy to do that. But that's kind of how the sheets work. And again, this is the magic of the pace sheets, is after scratches post, how the race dynamics change. You may have some different gaps than what you see right now. So that's what I get really excited about, is when the scratches come. So Eddie, let's go on to the next big one for $1 million, is the 8th race.
And it's the FanDuel Turf Sprinting. How about how FanDuel has just jumped into horse racing?
Absolutely.
And I tend to think it's a really good thing, because now we have another entity that has been very prominent in other gambling aspects, especially with football and what they do there. And they bought a racetrack, and now they're sponsoring big time races all over the place. So, kudos to FanDuel. I think it's a great addition to the industry.
I wish FanDuel would buy a racetrack or build me a racetrack up here in New England. I'd be very, very happy with FanDuel right now, Eddie.
Well, I'd be happy if they gave me an opportunity for a job. But anyhow, race 9. So
race 8.
Excuse me. No, it's race 9.
Is it race 9? I thought it was the ladies' turf grade 3. No.
Oh, is that where we're going?
Yeah, that's what. Did you do that one? No.
The FanDuel is race 8.
Oh, is it? All right. Maybe it is.
The grade 3. That one's a 750,000. Are we going to do 8? Are we going to do 8, 9, and 10 then?
No, let's skip ahead to 9, and then I'll just show that that piece.
Sorry,
of it.
I mean the 8th race is a great race, but I was focusing on. I thought you said
capped,
5, 9.
Hey, Eddie, I capped everything, soup to nuts, A to Z.
Well, I did too, but I have my notes for 5, 9, and 10. Anyhow, so the FanDuel is race 9. That's the $1 million race. Number 12, Arrest Me Red, is that's Wesley Ward and Irad, deserved favorite. Run 10 times, 6 wins, a second and a third. He beat a few of these horses 2 back in the grade 2 turf sprint at Churchill Downs. Just missed last out in the Jaupur at Belmont and lost to Casa Creed, who's obviously a proven top grade horse. Definitely going to be tough to beat. You've got the 2 Chewing Gum with Mott and Rosario, lost to Arrest Me Red twice, 3 and 4 back in those races. Had a bad trip last out off a layoff, working well since. And he does get Rosario to big jockey switch in that one, so that's another one to look at. I landed on the 5 horse, Arzak. Mike Trombata and Kimura is coming to ride this horse. He's out of a Not This Time sire. Just missed by 3/4 in the Troy at Saratoga last time. He had Rosario on him last time, so it's an interesting jockey change. But he's been working well since. He's 9-2 morning line. I landed on the 5 Arzak. I'm going to obviously use both the 2 and the 12 in the race with the 5 in some exotic plays. But I'm going to speak just briefly on the 3 horse Necker Island as a long shot play at 15-1. He's switching back to turf after not running on turf for quite a while. He's a good price play. He won at Colonial last out on a dirt race, but he got DQ'd. I think this horse is in good form. And again, prices hit at Kentucky Downs, so why not sprinkle the 3 in there? So I'm going to use the 3 in exacta boxes with the 2, 5, and 12 for prices. Maybe play a little win and place on the 3 as well because he's a nice price, or maybe a win and show bet on him for smaller bettors. But my top pick is the 5 on top of the 2 and the 12.
All right, so we're not first off. I need to make like a graphic or something, Eddie, that pops up here when we have a long shot pick. So Charles, I know you said race 5, Mr. Dumas. Charles, I'd love to see who you got for in race 9. Anybody wants to put their comments on there. My top pick here, Eddie, pace makes the race. There's no pace in this race, which makes me focus more on the back speed. My top pick is actually 3 Necker Island.
There you go.
That was my top pick, 15-1. If you're picking him though, and I'm picking him, why do I have a feeling that his odds are not going to be 15-1 at post time? So
I don't know that you and I are going to change the barometer on the odds like that, Chris. But
no, but if we're handicappers and we're thinking that way though, that's what I look for. I'm trying to zig while other people are zagging. So actually, I'm 3, 12, 5 here, Eddie. And let me see if I can pull up what the PaceSheets show on this one. And we'll go through the rest of these in a minute. Oops. All right. Is this it right here? Yes.
I think so. Yep.
So, again, this is data. Trust your data is your friend. So when I handicap this, I don't even know who the heck I took on top. I got looking at this, and I probably would go with more of a closer here. And I see Charles likes the 8. Is it the 8 in this one? He's going race 8. I want to know race 9, Charles. I want to know race 9 who you got, because this is what I'm seeing on paper. The 3 has the best total pace. Now, there's going to be some scratches here. So just so everybody knows, I think there's so much money involved here. Every race just about has alternate entries, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I think once the scratches post, this is going to clear up a little bit. It's going to be like seeing through the fog. 3's got the best total pace for me, Eddie. No pace in the – well, it's an honest pace, it says here. But I think at the end of the day, when I take out these AEs, I think it's going to be what's happening. And then I'm looking at late speed. It looks like the 6 and the 3. I don't know who the 6 is on late speed. These are the ones that get me. Bob's Edge. Does that horse have any chance, Bob's Edge? Does he look competitive on paper already?
Oh, I think he's got he's got a chance. But the thing about Bob's Edge is, again, like Necker Island, he's only run twice on the turf. Hasn't run on the turf in the last 6 races. He does have a win on the turf. He won. Excuse me. He won way back in October of last year at Keeneland. And, the thing is, and here's the thing, he won on good turf. And the turf today is supposed to be good to soft because I know they're getting some rain right now. So that's something to incorporate that maybe PaceSheets, I don't know if that's incorporated into PaceSheets. I don't believe it is. So track conditions do change the outcome of some of these races. So make sure when you handicap, you're looking at horses that have performed good on good to soft turf instead of just firm turf today.
Yep, absolutely. And, the other thing, so I got some thoughts. We got some things in the works, but, something made me think last week with Saturday was probably, I think that was the only sloppy day at Saratoga other than opening day. We got some off-track stuff, and it actually got me thinking to what happens if you could do something. So when the track goes off like that, you could check something, and then maybe some of the algorithms all change. So I'm just some thoughts. We're working towards some things like that, but I just want to show the data. What's really working here is watch these races, see how they unfold. The only thing I get concerned about is with all these horses, all these little dots, it's a lot of traffic to navigate through. So you got to get odds at the back because a lot of stuff's got to happen. And the one thing, that last turn, Eddie, that I don't know what they call it, but the bend, you said it's like a light bulb, but I guess maybe it's the bottom of the light bulb.
It's the bottom of the light bulb, and then they turn quick, and then they start going uphill.
So that wacky turn is where like all these races all change. Like if you're in the inside on the bottom of that turn coming in, you're cooked. And I know Charles said this on one of the shows, I think Thursday when they had the Kentucky Downs show on Horse Racing Today. The speed is actually holding here at Kentucky Downs. So that's an interesting thing on turf because I'm always looking for more of the back speed piece of it, but just something to look at, something to think about. And that's what I was showing.
Yeah, and
Showing the
there's and,
auditors.
and there's 12 horses listed in this race, and 12 are probably going to go, and we may
Mm-hmm.
get some of those also eligibles in this race. So, once the scratches do come out, I know you said you're going to update this, and that'll change what we're looking at right now a little bit, I believe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, all right, moving on. Let's get into, I think, the last big $1 million race is the
Yep,
10th race, Eddie.
the Kentucky Turf Club Cup, and this is a race that's I really like this race,
Mm-hmm.
and I like it because I think you're going to get a price in this race. But that being said,
Hey, Eddie, not to
there
cut you off, but we can't take any favorites at Kentucky Downs because this place, everybody says this is like straight darts. So,
sometimes it is, no question about that. But here's what we got here. First off, you've got a race going a mile and a half, right? And you've got 4 Mike Maker horses in here, and
mm-hmm.
Mike Baker has proven through the years that he's the best distance older turf trainer in the land. He's proven it. He's got 4 horses here, and one of the horses that he doesn't have, who's the favorite, is Gufo, the 8 horse,
Mm-hmm.
with Christophe Clement Rosario. Obviously, we know that that's one of the best combinations in turf racing that there is. Had a huge win at the Sword Dancer at Saratoga that we saw, and he's got 5 consecutive 100+ buyer speed figures, and I'm sure they're top speed figures when you're looking at the sheets, Time Form, and Brisnet as well. He's coming back pretty quickly for this race, so that makes me think that he came out of that race not blowing hard, ate all his food, and is just working really nicely coming into this. So I don't think they're running down here for the money. The owners, Otterbahn Stables, this has to be the best horse that I believe they've ever had. I may have missed somebody, but I did look into that a little bit. But this horse, the one knock I can give is he's never run at Kentucky Downs. It's a different animal running at that track. So
Mm-hmm.
I am going to try to beat my boy Joel Rosario in this race.
Okay.
I took a long look at the 3-horse Temple, who,
Mm-hmm.
again, another Mike Maker horse with Jose Ortiz on board. He came third in the United Nations to Adamo. He wasn't going to win that race, but he ran a really nice race. And he also did bobble and get bumped at the break of that. So, and it was his first race since April. And he's coming into it, working up nicely. He did win the Grade 2 back in Gulfstream in March. So, so the horse has some back class to him. The only thing negative about him is that he's 0 for 3 at Kentucky Downs, with his best finish being a third. But he's 6-1, somebody to look at. The 4-horse I looked at, Arklow.
Mm-hmm.
This is Brad Cox and Flojo. Just missed in the Bowling Green at Saratoga in that race. He was blocked going into that. He missed to a Rock Emperor. He didn't get the best trip there at Kentucky Downs. This horse has run 4 times. He's got 2 wins in 2 seconds. I definitely think this horse has a huge chance, and he's actually my top play at a 7-2 morning line. And as always, I'm looking at a price. If there's value, and if I can make it value and back it up with substance, the 1-horse Red Knight. This horse is another Mike Maker horse. He's got Corrales riding him, who's never ridden him before, but he did win his last race out at Colonial Downs at a 1.5 mile in a stakes race It was his first race off a long layoff from August of last year. And since that race, he has come back and had two really sharp works. Back in August 17th, he ran 4 furlongs in 48, which was the third fastest out of 43 on the Belmont training track. And then he just came back and basically ran a 1 minute flat 5 furlongs at Belmont, which I believe is just setting him up for this race at 15-1. This horse has 28 lifetime wins. He's got 9 wins in 8 seconds. And at this distance, he's got run 9 times. He's got 3 wins in 3 seconds. Good price play. Could be a surprise win, but I'm definitely using him in exotics. So I'm going 4, and I'm going to do something that I might regret, but I'm not going to use the 8. I'm going to go 4 on top. I'm going to box him with the 3 Temple and Exactas, and I'm also going to use the 1 in Exactas with the 3 and the 4 and play the 1 across the board. But my top play is a 4.
Okay, I like it. I like your thinking there. I think you're onto something. This race here was not the easiest race to handicap. This one here was a puzzle. I have 3 contenders in this race. Now the 8's the favorite, I believe. Yeah, that's Gufo. So Gufo, I've beaten him several times. He slayed me at Saratoga. I was not playing that horse. I'm playing to beat him, and it's interesting because Charles actually put in the comments, Eddie, his long shot play of the day. That's my top pick, the 7.
Is that right?
10-1. Admissions office. Now here's why. I'm not just throwing this out there. First off, the pace setup in this race screams stalker, closer. This looks like a back speed all day. It's just depending on where the position is. I'm not so much worried about what the numbers and the ratings and all that stuff is. I don't even know what the pace sheets even say, but let's get that up. I like the 7.
I'm curious to see what happens on the pace sheets to see if Arklow has a V, because that's how I see Arklow. Very versatile. He can close. He can rate.
All right. Are you ready? Can you give a drum roll?
Let's go.
Here you go, Eddie. So this is that 10th race. So from a standpoint of early speed, it looks like the 5. We've got no pace. I want to call that out. No pace. And then you see on total, and that's the way I like breaking this down a little bit so you can see some other things over here. Who was your top pick?
The 4.
Okay, the 4.
And he
so
does have a V. And he does have a V.
He has a V. So first off, shout out to my friends at Brisnet. They're always really good to me. I'm a Brisnet guy. So I love my Brisnet. I live by that. So they call it out on that piece of it. So got a big bubble. So it looks like 4 in the 8 is what the computer says on just the algorithm part of it, Eddie. Right. But then you go looking at late speed. Guess who's the top late speed?
You got 12 and 7 right there.
Boom.
With the 8 right there with him.
Yeah. Okay. The 8's there too. So who was the 12 again? Because that one's not on my list.
The 12 is Highest Honors, and that's Gaffleon for Chad Brown, who's had 2 nice works, hasn't run, coming off a layoff from July.
Yep. So I like the vision here. 12's got the best total pace too, by the way. So maybe I made a mistake by not including that one, and I need to look at this at the scratches a little bit deeper, but I don't want to waffle, but I like the 7, the 4 that you mentioned, and the 8. That's how I'm going to play this. Now, I think what I would probably do is just toss Gufu on top, because that's not going to pay anything. And I'm not playing a closer with this track. His morning line, I just got digits here. So it's like, it's under 2-1. So I'm not playing any closer with those kind of odds. Not happening. I'd rather lose, Eddie. Beat me.
Yeah, and and let me add for the listeners, if you land on Gufu and you like it, play it. I'm not telling you not to play it, because he's the class of the field, and if he takes to the different configurations of this track, because remember, this horse has only run on flat tracks. He's never run on this track before, and it's rolling hills with weird long turns and then a sharp small turn. If you land on him and you can get 7, 8-5, some people think you might even get 2-1 or higher on him, play him. I'm just trying to beat him at this present moment at 7-5. But if he does drift up, I'm
Hmm.
going to use him. We're doing this show to give you guys some ideas of maybe some price plays and what the spot sheets and what notebook picks has picked out.
Eddie, you bring up a very, very good point because listen, you can give picks all day. It doesn't mean anything to me as a better or a horse player. Like I like listening to people's opinions on horses and why they got there. The thing about it is, like, I may not like a horse this morning. We get to closer to post time, and I see that a horse is flagging on the tote board a lot higher. I can certainly sway my vote with my plays on what's happening and what's going on. So here's what I want to do before, because we're at the 45-minute mark. I do want to go through this card real quick and see if I can pick up anything, Eddie.
Yeah, and then towards at the end, I just want to touch about on the two top races at Del Mar for the
Oh yeah,
for the fillies.
you do that. Give me a couple picks out of Del Mar because you were really good at that, and I didn't go through the card, and then I go through the PDF here of what I have for Kentucky Downs.
Right, and then just real quick to add, guys, when you're looking at races and stuff, look how the track's running the first few races. I tend to a lot of times just watch the first couple races to see if there's a track bias or not, and that sometimes does change my opinion on the races. So you got to look at how the track's running, and then when it starts changing due to weather, that's something else you have to incorporate that will change this. And what I will try to do today, if I see track changes and things like that, I will be posting my notebook picks as well with the pace sheets. But if I see something that changes, I will put out on Twitter a change in a race so people can see that as well. All right, so in race 7 at Del Mar, you've got the Juvenile Filly Turf. It's a $100,000 turf race for 2-year-olds. This is most of these horses have run, some of them only once, some of them have been entered none. Most of them have run 2 times, and then you got a couple of European horses that are coming over here that have run a handful of times. It's a very interesting race. I think you might be able to find a price horse for second or third, but for me, the 7 horse Comanche Country stands out. He ran back initially in Ireland, just missed his first time out in didn't even run. It was a maiden stakes race in Ireland. Went off at 18-1 and just missed by a nose. He led the whole way around, fought for the lead and just missed, nipped at the wire. He came back over here after a layoff, and back in July 30th, he ran in a maiden special rate here. With Rispoli on top, who's one of the top turf jockeys, young jockeys out there in the country, if you don't know who he is. He was shuffled early, rallied, and won, going away by 3/4 of a length. And since then, he's had a handful of works. He looks really good. Philip D'Amato, who's having a really solid year. Rispoli stays on top for him. So he's my top play in here. The favorite, morning line favorite, is the 6 Savannah Angel. Has some really good time form ratings going back to his running in France and in Great Britain at Cataract, but ran pretty well in Chantilly. Did win his maiden in France 2 back. He's coming out here. I'm not familiar with the trainer at all. He might be out west. I don't know him. And he's working good leading into this, but I am not using him. I am using the 4 horses, my second choice.
Mm-hmm.
Flavian Pratt is running with D'Amato as well here, so I'm going D'Amato top first and second, the 7 and the 4. The 4 horses coming off a win in Ireland as well. And first North American start for D'Amato. He's winning at a 27% clip. This horse is regally bred as well. So in this race, I'm going 3-5. I know I'm not giving you much value on this because the 3's 3-1 morning line, the 5's 4-1 morning line, but I'm going to box them, and I'm probably going to use the 7 on top.
All right, so 3 Candy Caramel. That's Peter Miller.
No, excuse
I'm
me. I'm sorry. 7, 7, 5. The 7's 3-1. So 7 Comanche Country, and the 5, the best is yet to be.
Got it. Yeah, because I think I ran these PPs before the lines came out. I hate that because you get these other ones and the numbers get all screwed up. So, all right, we got the right ones. You got another one you want to talk about?
Yeah, the eighth race is the debutante. It's a grade one race right here. This is again, this is another 2-year-old filly race. You got some really classy horses in this race. The breeding is fantastic. The one horse is out of Good Magic, who's out of Curlin for Doug O'Neill. The 3 horses out of Arrogant for Peter Miller. Baffert's got the 5 horse who's out of Bernardini. He's got the 6 horse who's out of Honor Code.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real contentious race in my mind. And the 7 horse and 8 horse, 7's out of Nyquist, and the 8's out of Frosted for Richard Mandela, Pratt on board. This horse, I mean, these are tough races, but I'm going to try to beat the 6 horse Home Cooking, who is 9-5 morning favorite. That's Baffert with Mike Smith on board. He ran a bullet workout once, 2 works back, which is one of my favorite angles. This horse could end up being a monster. He's out of Honor Code, out of AP Indy, out of a hard spun mare, $260,000 purchase.
Mm-hmm.
He's been bet down to 1-5 or 2-5 his first 2 starts, but I think this horse is going to go off at 3-5 again. I'm going to try to find value. I'm landing on the 1 horse Vegas Magic. This horse has 2 solid works since its last. He's 3 for 3. He won the Sorrento, a grade 2, his last race back at 14-1, almost 15-1. His first 2 races were, this horse has been rating or closing, and he's not winning by a big margin like the 6 horse did in this last race. But I like the upward trend of this horse. Just impeccably bred. Doug O'Neill is a solid trainer out there. I like the 2 works, and I'm just looking for a little bit of value, trying to beat the 6 horse in this. So I landed on the 1. I think you could, if you're looking for value, I would consider the 8 horse Ice Dancing because of the connections of Mandela and Pratt. He's
Mm-hmm.
working nice work, a couple of nice works since this race. But I think this race is 1-6-6-1. Again, not a lot of value here, but I'm going to try to beat the 6 with the 1.
Well, my chicken scratch was showing on the thing. I was 6'5" when I originally capped this. I mean, I didn't have the odds or anything, but I just wonder the interesting angle to me here is on the 6. I think Bob Baffert gives Mike Smith a good mount every once in a while because I think the connections there. They're friends and they've done so many great things together. I just find it interesting that Smith is getting off the Mandela horse, the 8, to get on the 6. Even though I know Mike rode him last time. That whole thing, that angle of I'm taking the best horse in the race with the agent. When we talked to Ron Anderson, the same thing. I think 6 is probably a single here.
Probably, but again, I'm going to try to beat him. And I just want to throw out something. The next race, the 9th race at Del Mar, is a grade 2. It's the John Mabee race. I didn't really look at this race much just because I think this 5 horse Going Global is a really special horse. I think this horse is going to win this race and go straight to the Breeders' Cup from here. It's a 1.125 for older mares, 4-year-olds and up. This race, or excuse me, 3-year-olds and up. But this 4 horse is something special. It's won 9 times out of 15 times. If you want to look at that race and try to beat it, go ahead and do it. You might be able. The 1 horse has 5-2. It's not great value that could beat it, but there is the 7 horse. It's called Eddie's New Dream. So,
Ooh, what's in the
yeah,
name? What's in the name? What's in the
Square
names?
Square Eddie's the sire. So if this horse wins, it's going to light up the top board. He's 15-1 morning line.
All right. Well, it'll light up Lake Luzerne. How's that? If he wins today, but no, good card out in Del Mar. I wish these cards would get spread out. It would be nice if like Kentucky Downs had this card today, and maybe Del Mar had this card tomorrow. Just spread it out a little bit. Stop going right over the top.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they did. It'd be nice if the racing industry and the states and the track owners cared about the industry as much as the gamblers and the fans do, because we the gamblers and the fans are the ones that support the industry, and everybody else just seems like they're looking for short-term hand in the cookie jar returns.
Yep. So, yeah, and listen, I'm not a degen. I hope I'm not a degen. I'm not a gambler. I don't really care too much to gamble, to
You're
be
too
honest
you're
with you.
you're too old to be a degen.
I'm not a degen, and I don't even like gambling. I like when I have a play, I play it, but I'm not like that. So I want everybody to sharpen their pencils now. So we've been going on for 55 minutes yapping. Hopefully we haven't put anybody to sleep, but I want to go through this card quickly. I want to go the abbreviated version. When the scratches out yet, I'll keep waiting. Somebody tell me if the scratches for Kentucky Downs are out, because I want to get these out to you guys so you have plenty of time to do your handicapping, figure out what's happening. So here's what I have for you. Let's go through this thing and let's take a look.
The scratches are out.
They're out. So we have a bunch of them, or is it just a few?
Well, let's see. You want to go through it real quick? Are you looking? What race are you pulling up right now?
I just want to go quickly through them all. So let me just look at this. So
the
first
nine is scratched in the first.
All right. So the nine's out. All right. So
the 9 and 13 through 16.
I was hoping that 14 maybe was going to come in there. So anyway, it looks like when this gets redone, the 2 may stick out here a little bit. Maybe the 2 and the 5 on paper. So Eddie, second race is a maiden special weight. And again, you'll notice that I just did this as a tinge because I want to be careful. When you look at maiden races, we've got to be careful with this because, again, the computer is reading data. And if there's not a lot of data, like if you have a maiden claimer and everybody's ran 5 or 6 times, great. If it's a claiming race, you got lots of data, fantastic. But when we have these maiden special weights, you have to be really careful because these are the unknowns here. I don't know about the 1 and the 9. Who do we have for scratches in the second race, Eddie?
In the second race, the 4 and the 5. And
that's down here.
The 4, 5, 13, 15, and 16.
All right. So see how these races are going to change quite a bit. So that's why I want to punch this stuff in because I want you to be able to see the gaps here. So when we take out some of those horses, I think you're going to be able to see some gaps here. Like the late speed on that race, the 10 is going to have a nice gap on late speed. And I don't know if the projected pace is still fast, but I want you to get excited about that.
Sure. Absolutely.
The third race we have, this looks like a contentious race. So I would go value here.
The only scratches are 13 through 16, the also eligible.
All right. So that's, that doesn't give me a lot with what I have here, Eddie. It looks like maybe 2 and 4. I'm not really sure. 13's out. This race is pretty contentious, so you better get some value in the third race. Just eyeballing it. Fourth race is another maiden special weight. Is all the A's out of this one?
Yeah, 13 through 16 are scratched. Hey, by the way, in this race here, I've been myself and Walter more so has been waiting for a certain horse. I'm not going to give it out because I don't want to hurt the odds on it, but there's a certain horse that we've been waiting for it to win, and it's going to probably not get the odds that it's listed at, but I will be putting it out in my notebook picks, and I'll probably include it in there. So just a little note for people to keep an eye out on.
When in doubt, bet Gun Runners. Is that your tip?
That's your tip. I love Gun Runner. I love Gun Runner. I wish Gun Runner was still running.
I wish he was too. Absolutely. I'd go see that. I would go see that.
We got a couple of scratches in the fifth.
Okay, hang on. So the fourth race, just showing it out. When this gets redone, I'm more interested now in probably this group. So I got to go back and see who the heck I took here. But it looks like, 5's the early speed. But based on the pace, I like something over here maybe. But the 10, I think, is a first-time starter. So, all right, fifth race. What do we got, Eddie?
We've got the 8 and the 9 are scratched.
Oh, no, that 8.
Yep.
That's that 8 horse. All right, so 8's out.
That's your closer.
Yeah, he's out. So I don't know if that helps us or not. But, I mean, I guess the key thing is here, I'm hoping that corner horse can pull it off. So, again, he's 0 for 5. But at value, you may want to take a shot here because he does have the early speed pace advantage on that front. So it looks like on paper, just eyeballing it, 4, 7.
Well, look how the 5 is a little bit of a late speed horse. Doesn't show anything other than that.
Yep.
And again, he's my value play. But I did land on the 2 in this race, I believe. So he won the
Okay.
race last year. So let's
Mm-hmm.
not forget that. That means
That's
something.
right. All right. It does mean something. How about the 6 race?
The 6 race, the 6 is scratched,
Mm-hmm.
and the 11 is scratched, and
Mm-hmm.
and 15 and 16.
All right. I don't know if you really get anything out of that, but it looks like it's contentious is the word of the day. So when I look at this race here, hopefully something will open up. But it looks like you got a contentious race going on here. So get value and listen, just being perfectly honest. Listen, I don't get paid anything to tell you to pass races. I'm going to tell you that a skill that is very hard to do is to pass races. If I can't find value, I just watch the races now. And I think I've gotten more disciplined over the past year and a half with doing that. But this spell's contentious to me. So you better have something at the front. The 7 does stick out on total pace a little bit, I guess, Eddie.
It does. I'm going to throw out a little value play here. 2 horses in a value play here.
Mm-hmm. What you got?
Just for handicap purposes, I would look at the 5 and the 9 a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The 9's got some back class. The only thing about the 9 is it hasn't run in over a year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an older horse at 6 years old. But he's working nicely going into this. And this horse has more back class than most any of these other horses have here. And the 5 just won its last time out. And this race, they're running at 1 mile and 5/16. So this is a distance that many of these horses have never run. And again, they've never run on this up and down hilly track. So again, this is a race where if you can find a big value play, look for it. Don't look for a favorite. Look for value here.
This this 3 is the favorite, 5-2, and I'm just telling you. Listen, I don't know. He may win. His bubble's pretty big, but I'm just telling you, is his numbers that much better than everybody else? Where you're going to take that price? So, bet value. That's the word of the day here. Okay. Let's.
7's another maiden special weight.
Yeah, this one here. I'm not. Listen, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one. Did the 12 get scratched by chance?
The 12 got 12, 13. The 15's in. 12, 13, 14, and 16 are out.
I don't like this race. This race, I was hoping the 12 because you had like a gap there, but I don't know. I guess maybe the 5 is what it looks like on paper.
I do like this race because I love maiden special races because I watch the workouts and I'm a big pedigree guy. So I look at the breeding of these horses. I will be putting out my top 2 plays again on notebook picks for this one.
Okay.
So
all right, and then how about the 8th race, which is that one we skipped?
Yeah, the 8th race, the 4 and the 5,
okay,
and the 9 are scratched.
Oh, the 4 got scratched.
Yep. So this makes this
yikes.
This makes this a 7-horse field.
That's not good.
Well, it probably makes the one up.
Yeah, the 3, I guess, maybe, right?
Yeah, this race could be the 4 and the 5 are scratched. Yeah, this makes the 1 and 3. This could be a very chalky. This could be very chalky because it's 1, 3, and 8. The 9 was the other horse. If you're looking for value, maybe the 10, but the 1 and the 3 being scratched kind of hurt.
Yeah, I think I was on the 4 there, but okay.
Wait
How
a
about
second. Hold on a second. What happened here? What am I looking at here?
Are you looking at Delmar?
No, I just missed something here. I'm not sure what happened on my pages here.
All right. So race 9 is that one we covered.
Yes.
My horse. Necker Island still in the race, please.
Let me make sure there's no scratches here. The 7 is scratched.
Yeah.
And 14 and 15. So Necker Island, our 3 horses still in there.
All right, he's in there. All right. There he is right here. Don't leave me now. 12 still in it too?
Yep.
Okay. That's contentious. Another contentious race. I mean,
look, Necker Island's a price, but keep in mind, guys, the 3-horse hasn't run on turf in its last 10 races, I believe, and it's only run on turf twice. But he's got the pedigree to run on it, and that's why I made it my long shot play. Chris is using it as his top play. So if you don't like them, maybe sprinkle them in and incorporate them in your handicapping angles. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just got good total pace numbers based on what he's been running, and 3 and 6 on the close. So the 10th race is that other one, Eddie. Who got scratched here?
In the 10th race, the only horses, the 13 got scratched.
Okay, well that's good. So that doesn't change things a lot, but I could see this race going a lot of different ways, though.
Yeah, of course. And again, in that race, I used the one horse as my value play. But I who did I go with in this race? Now I forget.
I was going with the 7.
Who did I give? I can't even remember. Oh, I gave you the 4, Arklow.
Yeah, Arklow. So I mean, he's good on the.
Wait, hold on. Okay, that's what happened. Is my screen switched up. So yeah, Arklow is Arklow is one of my top plays of the day.
Okay.
At Kentucky Downs.
Cool. And then the 11th race here, I'm guessing, did the A's get scratched here?
Yep, 13 through 16 got scratched there.
Yeah, that's going to change this race all up too. So the good news is we won't spend any time on that. The last race is that grade 2. We got any scratches there in the 12th?
13 through 16 also. And guys, everybody listening, keep in mind, there's rain. It's raining right now there. It's going to change the conditions of the races, and it's probably going to add to some other late scratches. So keep that in mind, because that could change things. I know I will try to update it as much as I can. And obviously I know Chris will as well, but it's not easy to keep updating these things. So use this, and hopefully we all have a big day.
We got to go with the flow, man. That's what we do. So yeah. So anyway, then enough said. The 6 actually, with that scratch, the 6 actually sticks out here pretty good. I don't know who the heck I took, but this Big Invasion. Oh, he's the favorite.
Oh, Big Invasion's maybe a lone single in the race, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, he looks even better. So I'll put that out. That's next on my agenda here. Eddie, anything else?
I did have something else I wanted to add, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but if it comes to me, look, enjoy this Kentucky Downs card. It's such a nice boutique meet. It's a lot of fun, and there are some huge prices that can hit there. So if you're a long shot player, and even if you're not a big player, sprinkle some $2, $2 bets across the board, or exactas, or play doubles, play some multi-race wagers, and they return huge numbers. So just keep that in mind.
It's Kentucky Downs is not for the faint of heart, and everybody knows that, I think.
Yep.
Just bet wisely, pass, bet small bets. You can make a lot off a small bet. I know that if I took the top 3 horses off one of the races, I don't know if it was Monday or Thursday, I forgot, but a 50-cent try paid like $346, and it wasn't out of the realm. So you just got to take your shots and not go completely crazy here, because if you're going heavy, you may be challenged with some different things. So before we go, I did want to call out, Eddie, that and I of course I lost my screen again. Let me do it one more time. What the hell?
While you're looking for that, I'm going to say one last thing. We got some big things happening here, and one of them is I just want to give a shout out to Edgar Prado, who won a race yesterday, and he's at 8th all time, and he's closing in on 7th of all time in wins. And I'm going to have a little interview being posted, or an article being posted on him soon. So, stay tuned for that. Edgar's one of the gentlemen of the sports who's been around forever.
Yep, absolutely. And the other thing I want to showcase too is, the Horse Racing Today channel. These guys put a lot of work into this. Rich, Sean, Terry, Tom. Rich does the show with different people every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I think he might even do it Thursday and Friday at noontime, and put stuff out. I know last night I was up burning the midnight oil, and these guys were on talking about NFL football. So it's nonstop over there on the channel. I do want to give a shout out that they have some big shows on Horse Center Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Monday, they have Sarah Schaffer. I don't know if I didn't meet her up in Saratoga, but she's Joseph Safi's assistant trainer. She's going
I
to be
did
on the
meet her. I know
Okay.
you did meet her when
Did
I
I meet
took you
her?
back. Yeah, when you met White Abario, you met her. Of course you did.
Okay. Well, she's going to be on the show Monday night, and then Tuesday I think is very interesting. Susan Packard. If you do a Google search on Susan, she's done a lot of great things in her career, and I think she's the keynote speaker at one of the big forums they're doing out on the West Coast. So Rich and Sean, they'll have her on Tuesday night, and then Wednesday, actually one of my all-time favorite jockeys, thinking Tampa Bay Downs, and I think of Richard Grunder. Saying his name is what pops in my head, but Ronnie Allen Jr. is what I think of, Richard Grunder saying. But Ronnie Allen Jr. Has been around a long time. I didn't even realize. I think he's got almost 30,000 starts or something like that. But it's amazing what he's done. But he's going to be on the show Wednesday night. So I wanted to just give those guys a shout out for what they do. And the good news about the internet, you don't have to go back. Sometimes you listen, your time is valuable. You don't have to go back. Sometimes you miss us live, but the great thing is you can go back and you can watch it at your convenience on the ride. Maybe it's a long ride back from work, whatever the case may be. But if you like the show today, please give us a thumbs up. Retweet us on Twitter. We'll be back for more next week, I promise. I know we went a little long today, but any other last things, Eddie?
You mentioned Tampa Bay Downs. I can't wait for Tampa Bay Downs to open up. I believe they opened up late October or early November. Really looking forward to that. And you got to get your butt down there so we can do a show there live.
PaceSheets, baby. I can't wait to do the early speed because early speed at Tampa just absolutely kills. So I hope everybody has a great day. If you get any winners, go ahead and share them on Twitter. So we appreciate you guys all. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.